Hey guys, it's Cody. I'm on day 83 of the Odin project. Let's get started. So I started my day off with a live stream. It went really well. I was, again, live streaming the final JavaScript project, but I actually had some people sitting in watching today, and someone was actually asking me some questions about my experience and also advice for them as they go forward. So that was pretty cool to see that happen, and I was learning some new skills of juggling the stream with actually doing the project as well. If you're interested, definitely feel free to join those streams. I'll be letting out the link on Twitter, but you can always go to the Twitch channel to also just jump in whenever you want. I'll have a link to the video for today's stream as well. So let's jump right into what I did today. Let's take a look at the screen. So we're gonna start off with the attributes page. And specifically with this, on these attribute cards, I did a very simple thing of counting the number of attribute references that each attribute has. So as a sensory scientist who's trying to train other people on different sensory attributes and how to recognize them, it's great to have multiple references to clearly exemplify the quality that you're trying to communicate. So we can see that some of these have 1 and some of these have like 2. I think there's one that has 11, 10. I wanted to calculate this because I think that would be valuable for a sensory scientist to see. And so I did that over here within this map. So here I'm calculating the unique references count by filtering over the attributes array for attributes that are equal to the attribute that is being dealt with in the map. And then down here, I am checking for only unique references for that specific attribute, and then I'm getting the length of that. And that's what's going to come out for this specific element. In addition to that, today you're going to see that I have these buttons up here that I added to the dashboard. So this is keeping in mind that I want to create a lexicon management system. So I want to let the users actually be able to add their own lexicons to the database and attributes and references. So I worked on this a little bit today because I think this is a pretty key feature for allowing some additional functionality for the users. Specifically, I worked on getting this add lexicon set up. You'll notice that the path up here is /add/lexicon. We'll go to the dashboard menu. So this is where that button is coming into play. So I only have the add lexicons button really working right now. And if we go to the route switch, we can actually see how I have this set up. And we can check out the folder structure over here as well. So we'll see that I have home, dashboard, and add pages, which in the folder structure is home, dashboard, forms. So these add pages are gonna be things like add lexicon, add attributes, add references. And these are essentially all gonna be forms that the user can use to add their data to the database. Here we have the root path for these add pages as /add, and then each one is lexicon attributes. We're on the lexicon page right now, be utilized to create new lexicons, which will then allow the user to create new attributes, which will then allow them to create new references for those attributes. But I started off here today, and you're gonna notice it's pretty dead simple UI, just 2 inputs and a button. If we actually go to the component here, add lexicon, it is just exactly that. There's a link to the attributes page with the button. I do have some handling events up here for handling the click of the submit button, but I'll get back to that. Let's go back to our route switch. So I actually have the add pages being the primary component that's loaded for this route. And if we go to add pages, there's actually only just an outlet here. And that outlet is going to be used to change between add lexicon and add attributes. So we have these 2 components, the add lexicon and add attributes components, and they both just have inputs and they're both forms. I didn't do much with the add attributes, so it's pretty simple. It's just there as a placeholder, but the add lexicon was where I really got some work done today. If we go back up a step, I needed to create some database connections today to actually be able to make anything. So I created JavaScript files to actually get connected to Firebase. So this is initializing a Firebase app, and then this is getting connected to the database. And I use these within the add pages to initialize the app, connect to the database, and then I send the database as a context through the outlet. Since the outlet is going to be a switching of components, we can't just send props to it, we have to send this context. And then within the add lexicon component, you see there's no props up here, but I do use this use outlet context from the React router DOM to get the database. And then I use that database down here with my Firebase add doc collection to actually enter data into the database. But that's getting a little bit ahead of here. So let's just take a step back. So we have this handle submit button, and that handle submit button is on click for this add lexicon button down here. So when you click this button over here, it'll go up and fire this handle submit async function. It'll grab the product category from the document, so this input, and the product value from the document, so this input. And then it's going to do this try catch to actually enter that data into the database. And if it's successful, it will write to the console the ID of the doc ref. If not, if there's an error, then it's going to give me the error for that as well. So let's take a look at what this actually looks like. A user will add a product category and a product. So beverages and milk. And I'm going to click add lexicon. This handle submit's gonna fire off, and we see down here in the console that the document was written correctly because we have an ID that is set to a string of letters and numbers. And then if we actually go to my Firebase, we will see that the data was actually entered in. So that was B7, so that should be the first one. And there it is, beverages for product category, and product is milk. So it was successful, and now I can actually start adding things to the database as a user, and I can start building out the functionality of what the user can actually enter in these databases with what I've got going on here. So I got to work on the attribute page, and I definitely got to work on the UI for these things, but I have the database connections, which is pretty good because now I can get out of my JSON files and start actually building a more realistic application. That's all I have to give you guys. So if you are interested in following mine and Emily's web development journeys, definitely feel free to subscribe. I will catch you guys tomorrow. I will have another stream in the morning with the final JavaScript project. So I will see you guys there.